No matter how badly you want to believe whatever character assassination videos are out there on these eyewitnesses, key witnesses, instead of thanking them, it's almost typical that people turn against them and want to focus on criticizing or focusing in on trying to discredit them, as though the information that they pretend to be seeking out there isn't standing right in front of their faces. Anyway, it's nobody's fault. It's just an effect from interpreting how we get our information. We grow together. All of this talk about them slipping, it's so difficult to imagine parents doing what people are accusing them of when the poison was right in front of their face and they stopped off with Hunter to get it. That twisted tea. The twisted tea, and the people, meaning Allyson, Sherry, Grandis, including Dudley Ajan, are all saying really the same things about the degenerate nature of Candace and Dawn's relationship and the impact on their children. That was already a topic and an issue at that point in time where she came up missing, all right? So when Chris McDonough is suggesting, and it's not like we're going to get verification, a written hello and a card in the mail. Listen, CPS was showing up that week and that particular day that she went missing. I can't get out of my mind Dudley Ajan's description about seeing and it impressing upon him in a very significant memory, we'll say, about the look on Dawn's face and the communication and the conversation that he was having on the phone. I'm presumably thinking it was Candace the day before she came up missing. Don Wells, the more we got to know him, the more that we realized the type of unchecked sex offender he really is. And with an out of control substance abuse problem and all kinds of baggage that compounds when it comes to his sexual proclivities. Habitual line crossing, boundary crossing with minors, including his own child, Summer. And that comes from not just one source that is obviously biased. Who isn't biased when it comes to something like this? Don't be distracted. One of the first things that Allyson and Sherry and Grandbun and even their friend wanted to say is that Dawn and Candace give minors alcohol, including Summer. So why would it be any different on that particular day, June 15th? Of course, it's probably going to be something that they deny. You don't need to rely on the suspects in this situation. People are pointing it out as an ongoing issue. So it's only safe to assume that Candace was giving Summer twisted tea that particular day too. Allyson and Grandis and Grandbun, Sherry recognized how drunk Hunter was when he got dropped back off and we're talking day drunk too. Okay. We're talking, they picked him up at 10:30 and dropped him back off at, I'm just pulling this number off of my head, whatever time it is in the afternoon. And the first thing that they noticed is how shaky and frankly drunk he is, because he's a 14, 15-year-old kid. So the poison's already flying around. And I don't believe that was simply the accidental. Something did happen at the swimming hole. She dosed Summer with twisted tea, the twisted tea that she stopped off and picked up. Remember, she says it's for Grandis. Well, Grandis, Candace, you're both Candaces. Who cares? You guys were dosing the kids. Ain't nobody want to talk about it. Everybody else is talking about it in these side interviews. That's what we're going to look at today. But first, before we start, I want to read through the statistics and some of important information when it comes to the physiological effects of alcohol on a 5-year-old female child. Any interaction that a 5-year-old child has with alcohol is considered a medical emergency, okay? And we've sat here for 5 years. I brought it up before, but now when you look at it in conjunction in the greater web of things that we've all learned, all of the circumstantial evidence, if you will, it would strongly suggest that the entire alibi of the 3 caregivers around Summer Wells are engaged in a cover-up and a false story to police. They reported Summer missing to law enforcement in that sense, but they're wanting to insist that there was an abduction, even though there's absolutely zero evidence for that. And there's every reason. There was so much reason to talk about how ridiculous their claims were. We overlooked the most important factors about the information we do know about that particular day, and its impact alone on the probabilities of the risk factor that Summer was under immediately during those hours. You could sit back and consider the fact that she already gave her Hunter alcohol, which isn't just a wrong legally and morally. That brings up all kinds of other questions and demonstrates for you all just how degenerate of a motherfucker these two are. They have no limits, no boundaries, including their very own child. Now, I propose that their bullshit stories don't just start and stop during the 2:30 to 6:30 period. We all can see how bullshit that is. It's so terrifying to them. They left it out. But the alibi right from the moment they got up was an emergency plan. And right from the get-go, they've already colluded the days before when Summer was still alive to prepare for whatever news that Dudley overheard that was so life-changing, which was the probability of authorities talking to Summer and that information getting out about just the type of abuse that was happening to her, because she could speak for herself. She was a major problem for her father, especially that he can't control himself. And it forces her into a heightened sense of even higher risk. Because now there's a no-limit sex offender that has gone unchecked his entire life because he's crafty, and he's got enablers around him, including the woman he's with, Candace. They talk about how it was known, and even Jody Sue Brown pointed it out, that was the first thing that she noticed when she met Candace. And she made all kinds of inferences about witnessing the kids sucking on alcohol and mixed drinks. They would all drink out of the same drinks anyway. And how there was underage drinking, we'll say, enabled there, and beyond that. Allyson and her mother and Sherry all talked about how they suspected Candace and Dawn of SAing Summer. They're not the only ones. Think about the powerful statements from Jeannie and Mary Hartman and that portion of it. If that's not enough for you, I mean, it just keeps growing and compounding. You get to know Don Wells better than he even knows himself. Nobody came and stole Summer. They don't have a timeline for you. They refuse to speak. What a great chunk of evidence. There's no time associated between the 309 photo and when they called 911 after 6 p.m. There's a reason for that. It's so mind-blowing. You can't blame any one person for not calling it out immediately, because there's none of us that should be able to think that the person that you're communicating or talking to or engaged with has any other reason not to be as normal as you are. Remember how different Don was when he first got interviewed by the Rogersville Review, Times News Online. You can search it up on YouTube, his 3 interviews, and the reality that came out slowly over time into the type of individual that Don really is in his real life. Think about the Hunger Games going on up there at 110 Ben Hill Road. All kinds of open animal abuse. No real line boundary between life and death with the 21 dogs they have roaming around the property, one with their ass hanging out. They were performing makeshift surgery on cats' legs, throwing cats to hungry animals, dogs, all in front of the kids. It was a whole thing. Think about all the fucking crazy nonsense that they've admitted to and just put it together. Imagine the things that we don't know. And then there was Jose Roman, of course, with a detailed story about his experience. These were added stresses that were affecting who should have been more occupied with raising their family, but they were split apart. One out in Utah, Candace at home, picking up, bringing home all kinds of random strangers and battling over sexual conquests with their very own mother. Those children had absolutely nobody in their lives. They make the system look like a preferable way of raising children in the circumstance compared to the debauchery pits of hell shit that was going on out fucking there. Including the patriarch of the place having a proclivity for 5-year-old children and has had some for the past 40 some years. It's a pattern with him. He's also, it goes without saying, he's got ideations of, let's say, homicidal ideations in that sense. But when he makes these calls to Mary Hartman, when he makes all of these threatening calls, especially with the information that gets out publicly. Let me read this to you. The question is, what are the physiological effects of alcohol on a 5-year-old female child? Alcohol is extremely dangerous for young children, especially a 5-year-old. A child this age has a much smaller body mass, immature liver and kidneys, lower levels of alcohol metabolizing enzymes like alcohol dehydrogenase, and a developing brain, pardon the pronunciation there, even a small amount. Such a sip, a mixed drink, a twisted tea, a taste can cause rapid and severe intoxication. What might be a mild buzz for an adult can be life-threatening for a child. Let's talk about the effects. There's rapid intoxication. The description of that would be blood alcohol concentration rising very quickly. Why it's worse in a 5-year-old is that because of the smaller blood volume plus lower body water percentage. It's just a miniature person. The effect of hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar. The description, it can drop dangerously fast, leading to seizures or coma. Why it's worse in a 5-year-old is that an immature liver can't maintain glucose levels while processing alcohol. respiratory depression an effect, which is slow to irregular breathing, and there's a risk of your breathing stopping altogether. Why it's worse in a 5-year-old is because a 5-year-old has immature central nervous system. Also, hypothermia. Think about the summer jacket that was on Summer in that milk jug photo. Think about how off that photo is. It's almost like she's passed out on the milk jugs. Why? Because she's passed out on the milk jugs. That's why. You know why it's off? Because 5-year-olds shouldn't be fucking passed out drunk or close to death. That's why it's off. It might not be off if it was an adult at a party. The effect of dehydration and electrolyte imbalance. Description of this would be vomiting and diuretic effect. A 5-year-old has small fluid reserves. The effect of liver and kidney stress, which is overwhelming immature organs. 5-year-old has reduced metabolic capacity. Easy for me to say. Now the effect in the brain effects. Impaired coordination, slurred speech, confusion, blackouts. Why it's worse in a 5-year-old, developing brains are very highly vulnerable to neurotoxicity. Now imagine that Hunter is out there with Candace and nothing abnormal would stand out to him because he's already engaged in drinking these twisted teas with Candace, who have already been over there really asking him not to mention anything about what you guys were up to, including underage drinking those twisted teas that were for grandma only, especially when he's coming home drunk. We could only think that you dosed Summer as well. Why wouldn't we think that? The gastrointestinal effects. Nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain. Of course, children have sensitive stomach linings. Cardiovascular effects. Irregular heartbeat, low blood pressure. It's because 5-year-olds, again, have immature regulatory systems. Alcohol poisoning can occur quickly. Unconsciousness, seizures, coma, or death. So where we're going with this. Vomiting while intoxicated can lead to choking or pneumonia. Long-term concerns if repeated exposure, brain development damage, cognitive defects, behavioral issues, increased future addiction risk. At this age, the differences between girls and boys are minimal, but females generally have slightly lower levels of alcohol metabolizing enzymes even as adults, potentially leading to slightly higher effects for the same dose. A single standard drink, or even less, can put a 5-year-old's blood alcohol content into lethal range. Think about that for a second. A single standard drink, and I believe a single standard drink would be 8 ounces. That's for a beer. What happens when you start with a twisted tea that has all kinds of booze in it, alcohol? This can put a 5-year-old's blood alcohol concentration into the lethal range, risk of death already. Symptoms can appear within minutes and progress rapidly. Emergency medical attention is critical. Call poison control or go to the ER immediately if ingestion is suspected. Well, they were already at the ER for Granny's legs. Here are the key facts and statistics on alcohol poisoning and alcohol-related harm in children, primarily under the age of 18, with focus on young children like 5-year-olds, where data is available. In the United States, emergency department visits, alcohol is involved in thousands of pediatric poisonings annually. According to the CDC and Poison Control Data Center, alcohol is one of the top substances involved in pediatric poisoning cases for children under 6. Alcohol is one of the top substances involved in pediatric poisoning cases for children under 6. Poisoning would insinuate that somebody poisoned them, in my mind. From 2010 to 2020 data, U.S. poison centers reported over 10,000 cases of children under 6 exposed to alcohol, including hand sanitizers, mouthwash, and beverages. Many resulted in moderate to major effects or hospitalizations. Alcohol poisoning deaths in young children are rare but tragic. Between 2000 and 2020, dozens of documented cases of fatal alcohol poisoning in children under 10 occurred, often from accidental ingestion or intentional administration. Intentional administration, Candace. You intentionally administered some of that twisted tea to Hunter, so we already have that here. What would be the difference here? A study in pediatrics found that alcohol-related hospitalizations for children under 18 are significant, with very young children under 6 at the highest risk for severe outcomes due to low body weight. Let's talk about the specific risks for young children, such as Summer's age. A 5-year-old weighing 40 to 50 pounds, or 18 to 23 kilograms, can reach a lethal blood alcohol concentration with as little as 1 to 2 standard drinks, or even less depending on concentration and time. Symptoms escalate rapidly. Now, what I'm saying to you, friends, is because they already have experience with dosing their underage children with booze, they would have a good idea at just how much they would need to really knock her out. They have experience. It's like a dealer giving often somebody with a hot pack. Symptoms escalate rapidly. A child can go from tipsy to unconscious or respiratory failure within 30 to 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes. Symptoms escalate rapidly. A child can go from tipsy to unconscious. Isn't that what and how you would describe the 309 milk jug photo, friends? I think so. Symptoms escalate rapidly, like the ones in those photos. That particular one. Summer can go from tipsy to unconscious or in respiratory failure within 30 to 60 minutes. That's just the amount of time, roughly, it took to get home from Kingsport, dropping Hunter off. But not saying all of this was accidental, but you could even stop with your mind there. But when you realize how much of a factor that, or the possibility it is and can be, then you remember who their parents are and why in a situation this specific, Don would choose his freedom in getting away using all kinds of extreme methods, including murdering or planning the death of his own child in order to keep her and prevent her from talking to authorities about the sexual abuse that she was the victim of. With prompt medical care, most survive, but delayed treatment significantly raises risk of brain damage or death. Alcohol poisoning in young children is entirely preventable, Candace, and highly dangerous. Even a little bit can be an emergency. Chronicles of Olivia. Hold on. Is there something going on with my stream? Just a second. Chronicles of Olivia. I also got Dudley's pulled up in the background. But I want to go ahead and play. This is part 1 and there's part 2 from JLR. This interview, even though it begins chaotic, is so informative, especially now that, and I hope you have taken in my last 2 videos on Summer Wells talking about the strong likelihood that this was and is premeditated, and they all coordinated in order to falsely report their children as abducted to authorities. Good to see you, Soldier Girl, and everybody else. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. I'm glad you're here. To give you a little bit of a breakdown, this is Allyson Harris, Hunter's mother, his grandmother, and his great-grandmother. Sherry Delaney, and we call her Grand Bun because she has this bun that she ties her hair in. She's Allyson and Sherry's. She's the grandmother of the 3. Allyson, excuse me. They are neighbors, family acquaintances of the Wells family. And of course, their relationship goes much deeper and has a history. And they have their hooks, meaning Don and Candace, into the kids, Hunter, and their other children as well involved. This interview, of course, it's emotional in the beginning, confrontational at times, and filled with strong accusations of neglect, abuse, and cover-up. It starts off with the interview with Allyson spotting Hunter's family and urgently confronting her in that sense. Let me skip ahead a little bit. So the key claim in the first minute 30 is Candace gave Summer alcohol and drugs in that sense. Let me see. Yeah, I think my audio is okay. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Oh, yeah, Soldier Girl. So one of the first things they say and talk about is how alcohol and drugs up there are a problem, and that they indeed give Summer alcohol and substances. And they talk about SA and instances of just what life looks like up there on 110 Ben Hill Road through animal abuse, the neglect. But of course, we get so distracted, don't we? Remember, I'm just saying that because you remember when this was going on, we're so distracted. Meanwhile, all of the answers are right in front of our face. And of course they are. That's what so many of us recognized as suspicious to begin with, but we just react to all of the information that comes our way. And we always take that thought that much more when in fact, these 3 didn't really, because I think in society we take for granted things like alcohol and the damage it can do to a 5-year-old because nobody would ever think of giving a 5-year-old alcohol in the first place. When in this circumstance, we overlook or maybe forget just how dangerous that alcohol that they're giving their daughter is. And in fact, June 15th, it was incredibly dangerous. You lost volume? What are you talking about? Is something wrong with my audio? I hope not. There shouldn't be. Let's listen.
Fuck. Hurry, come on.
Come on. Let's go. Let's go. That's them. Let's go. Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. We've been everywhere looking for her. Everywhere looking for her.
So,
Hi, how are you guys?
it's Allyson.
Allyson, how are you? God bless you. How are you?
How's his mom? How are you?
She's going through a lot.
I know.
She's going through a lot.
Well, we did talk to Dawn last night. But more importantly,
Whoops. Soldier Girl, I think I just put you on timeout. By accident, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to time you out, Soldier Girl. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'll try to untime you out. I don't know if I can. I think I might have hit the 24-hour timeout. If you are, I really apologize. I didn't mean that at all.
more importantly, I will tell you this. We talked to their neighbors.
You're going to have to use a sock account, hun. Oh, yeah, she is. I apologize.
They said a lot.
I hit the wrong button in the background, fiddling around.
They said a lot. Oh my gosh. And one of them said something very upsetting.
Listen, I tried to help the woman. Sherry, just stop.
Yeah, you ain't gotta worry.
Come on, you just shut up. You're dead anyway.
What do you mean? Like, would you try to help the woman? Like what?
No.
Like
That's
not
not
to
what
give
I'm
a kid
saying. That's what
alcohol and
people
drugs
on
and shit like that.
She gave Summer alcohol and drugs?
She said that you're really Sherry, that she's really
Really?
So, Sherry, the first thing Sherry brings up is Candace, how Candace would give Summer alcohol and drugs. Dudley Ajan witnessed, because Don always had the boys and the kids with them on job sites. He witnessed his Josie smoking weed on the job site with Don. So they're already, we have examples, eyewitness examples, key witnesses.
Did you see it?
And then I'm like, no, that's
When did
not
she
the
do that?
case. And they're like, how do you know? Do you know this family? Yeah, that's like over 20 years. Yeah, I know this family.
My kids are attached to dogs.
You watch all the stuff.
My granddaughters
Happens with
are
Chris McDonough.
animal
Did you
lovers.
enjoy?
Yeah. I'm an animal lover. I saw your kitty right there, and it's like, here, little kitty. So she would give Summer, Candace would give Summer drugs and alcohol.
I know alcohol comes out.
Did Don?
Yeah, I don't think she screwed up. She's quite clear about it.
Don gave Candace drugs and alcohol too.
I honestly think that they,
My
well,
goodness.
you know, it's really basic.
The boys too? Everybody.
Oh, completely different.
Excellent.
Can I ask you?
And I think that
Did-
that was.
So we've got no reason not to think that that's not credible. That should have been and has been the topics. I wish that was the topic at the time with Hunter, but of course there's so much information to gather.
You think? No. Do you think Candace was, or Summer was sexually molested by any way by the family? I mean, because we're hearing rumors. You do. By who? Don? Or probably the mother too, Candace.
So Sherry is saying that she suspects Summer was being SA'd by both Don and Candace, both of them.
Wow.
So do you feel?
But this
What do you feel happened to her?
said that he wasn't going to put it on. It could be TV or Facebook. Like did where She went and asked for a piece of candy.
If you sign something
The
saying
grandmother
that
had just came from the doctor's office that day. Probably got the pill.
Like, I appreciate the hell out of them thinking so hard, but they don't have to introduce dosing them up with medication or pills when you're already feeding, including Hunter, alcohol. That would have been the first thing in my mind. But I don't know if there's any, or what exactly they're thinking. I'm not trying to cast judgment upon them. I'm just saying that how could we overlook the obvious danger that was already being used in a legal fashion that particular day? And that's alcohol. You know, we don't have any reason to think otherwise. We don't have to imagine a scenario because the scenario already exists and it's concealed with the admissions about twisted tea and, Hunter arriving home intoxicated. Just exactly how did Summer arrive home? We don't believe, nobody should be believing that Hunter or Summer even got back to the home. And I feel that looking back on it now, when you go back to the first days and watch Dawn and he's got his son traumatizing his son out in front of all of those cameras, talking about what happened. That's his way of impressing upon the kids. He's almost blaming the victims in all of this, especially his poor son for not keeping an eye on his daughter. So no matter what it is that Dawn and Candace say, those kids are going to believe it. It's going to be what's happened in that sense. And you can see that transfer occur. You can see it in the WJHL video where they have all of their kids on the front lawn at that point in time before they were removed from the home. That was inevitable. That was going to happen. But the most dangerous factor about the authorities coming in to do what they set out to do in the first place, which Dawn and Candace were preventing, was get and talk to Summer now that she is of an age where she can speak for herself. Think about how different it probably would have been 6 months before. Think about how different it would have been. She was less able to express herself or understood what was going on. Think about her behavior at church. Think about how crawly and creepy, maybe that's a poor way of describing it, but she's very needy and hands-on. And you thinking first that she's reaching out because she doesn't get enough of it at home, when in fact she's just gotten used to it because she sleeps with her naked mother and father who are intoxicated and ingesting drugs and participating in all kinds of debaucherous, evil activities. It's what she's gotten to know. She doesn't have a clear understanding at a young age of her own boundaries. And there's no real control by way of the caregivers in her home, especially in church like that. Like, you're just apt to let her go and crawl all over absolute strangers in all kinds of inappropriate ways that make it awkward. And she never understands boundaries to begin with. There was never really a real need to keep or give special attention to something that was an issue there. You hold on to the child's hand. You be more engaging with your own children. It's not everybody else's place to compensate for you. A child can't make that distinction. You as an adult, her caregiver, can. Opening 3 minutes and 24 seconds of that interview with Allyson Harris, mother of Hunter, Summer Wells, Candace Bly, Dawn Talk on Jonathan Lee Richards' channel here on YouTube. I'll share the link in my chat with you, friends, because it's good to go back and remind yourself, and I should take.
Oh, ate the pills.
Just to give you a heads up, I just saw a weird flash. I just had an issue. A few seconds ago. Stream has disconnected, attempting to reconnect. Just be patient, my friends. If something happens, just refresh, and I'll be right here waiting for you. I'm not going anywhere. But you might have a disruption.
Ate the pills. Is that like the rumor going on like that?
One night. And it was about 3 o'clock.
At the house, you think she took that?
I came over at 2 a.m. to check on you guys, and you guys were home. Freak?
They were sleeping.
Yep, and then, whatchamacallit there, Jeffrey Gum, he put my son's address out.
Did you ever see Candace, the mom, hit Summer?
No.
Who are you?
I'm Allison's brother.
Oh.
Oh, your brother?
I'm Premeditated.
Oh, your mother. Oh, what's your name?
Sherry.
Sherry. Yeah. How are you? Yeah.
They put it out there that I'm
Is that
dead.
okay?
Who put it out there?
Candace and Donnie.
Can I ask you something? This is going to probably upset you, and I'm so sorry. I don't. That's not my intention whatsoever. It really isn't. You know, I just want to find out, what your thoughts are. I hate even having to ask you this, but with him going to the watering hole with Candace and her giving him alcohol, do you think that she did something with him?
No. When Candace.
Bullhorn Betty was so close with that question, but it's not her fault. Think about all the different scenarios you could present, knowing then what you guys and everybody knows now. I'm not putting anything on them at the time. They're doing their best with the questions, and that's really a good question.
You don't think so? Wait a minute.
Her and her mother.
Candace was sexually probably did do something to Hunter.
No, she did not.
Bullshit. I seen it with my own eyes. There was signs there. I didn't like it. I warned them. I backed the fuck out.
No.
Yeah, be in denial, but the truth hurts.
You go, Sherry.
Because she gave him alcohol.
Way to call it out. Right from the beginning. Good for her. But you see that there's discourse. There's some resistance within the three of them, because they're all already probably pitted against one another with the manipulation that they've experienced being in this former friendship with Don and Candace. Well, obviously, because right up until the day, like you guys all already know this, right up on June 15th, you all already knew this, but yet for whatever reason, you allowed Hunter to get picked up by Candace and go and engage in this debaucherous activity. So, I mean, it seems so simple to us, but to them, it's not as simple because, well, it's not an ideal situation. You've got a grandma, mom, and Allyson all living in the same house with the kids. There's all already issues. Hunter's Hunter. Andrew's in the picture, not being the greatest person in his life at the time, being far away in New York. So Hunter is doing a lot of raising of himself in this sense. He's being used by two suspected pedophiles who you guys know and are already involved, reporting them to CPS, engaged in this disagreement. That's not just a one-off, it's an ongoing thing over a period of time. It's almost like dragging you in as punishment to bring you into this situation and use you as human shields, a person in real life that they can point blame at and add question into the public's mind for what it is they're trying to put on in this false report of an abduction, this hoax that they're portraying. They're using Allyson and their family, including Hunter, as pawns in all of this. They've intentionally included them. Why the fuck would you be picking Hunter up, who should otherwise be in school? Right away, you're already contributing to the delinquency of a minor. You've got this Hunter who should be in high school. He's out of school on a weekday, a school day. Maybe school's out at that time in June in Tennessee, isn't it? Was school already out? Maybe, yeah. But anyway, it's the middle of a day and you're out there offered, you're the one who's driving. You offered to do all of this, Candace. There's no way that it's like they wanted to put it off on Hunter. Oh, I just had to go and pick him up because he was bothering me on Facebook. Dude's 14 years old. You're a fucking adult with children and married. You can't get out of that. Oh, he was just pressuring you so hard you broke down and went and picked him up. No, dude, he was right in your business. You were in his life because, well, you have this weird sexual relationship with an underage child in this circumstance. Probably partially to blame with your hatred of your husband and the situation that you've created for yourself. You needed to get your own, your own activity in, just like Dawn was doing to you. And you chose to go and do it to the people that were already in your lives. Just more betrayal. Betrayal all around.
Oh, shit. And the kid didn't know what was going on. And
because that was the sentiments of the neighbors there, that she was a sexual deviant.
A neighbor.
And so that's the only reason. I didn't mean to upset you, Kim. I didn't. But that was the reason I was asking that.
it bothers me too. He's my grandson.
We all went, oh my God, like that.
Yeah.
Right at the car.
Who's your grandson?
Right up.
Hunter.
Oh, Hunter. Oh, yeah.
when
How's
she
Hunter
comes
doing?
Now, she'll come back out and talk to us.
How's Hunter doing?
I don't think she ever went to plant
He's
flowers.
really messed up.
I don't know. No one
Yeah.
could witness that she was up there planting
And it's-
flowers.
a lot of
I
it
think
has to
that
do
she
with them.
suffered a secondhand drowning.
I agree. I agree with you.
Like
And
she
you know
looked
what?
like a child.
Enough is
She
enough. It's
was
been.
young. She
I'm
was
sorry.
young.
I didn't.
It makes me mad.
It doesn't take long.
It's been 6 months.
See, people
It's
think
been
that-
6 months.
this is
And
what people think.
And I
why?
think that baby's
Somebody
up
goes
there
under
somewhere.
that
You do.
They are not under very
On the
It
land.
matters about how
Or out
much
in
water
the
you get in your
They have
lungs.
access to
Right,
the
and you
goddamn
get
water in your
little
lungs
nurse
seconds
or
whatever.
best.
Where's that at?
I don't
You
know.
know, and what's to say she didn't hit her head?
What about that cemetery across the street from them? You ever been in the house?
Yes.
You been up there?
Yeah.
I
There were
very
certain
much
things I
believe
didn't like,
that
so I
these
just cut my
children were
ties.
on-
So for a moment, imagine just the situation with what everybody already knows with Candace giving Summer alcohol, especially. Imagine this time that it ended up and resulted in death. She's just, how many times did she do it before? It's just a matter of time at that age before something goes really wrong. And you have a real pattern of not having any limitations. It's not just a glass of wine with dinner. And by the way, that's something that maybe a 12-year-old experiences, not a 5-year-old. There's no need for a 5-year-old to be drinking alcohol. So right away, if you took her to the emergency room, you would already be up shit creek. You would already be in trouble because the doctors and nurses would most certainly have to call, Child Protective Services at that time, no matter what. And you don't want that investigation as to them asking why exactly Summer had so much alcohol in her system. It was concentrated to a lethal level, even one drink. But this is not a situation where Candace was just being reckless with her one day, gave her too much alcohol, and she died and ended up going down after that 3:09 p.m. photo and doing something. That everything and all of the little pieces that we've come across over the past 5 years about that day point to it being premeditated.
Like what? What didn't you like?
We're giving the kids
We're
alcohol.
also told by the
Yeah.
same neighbor that these children got a bath maybe once a week.
If
Is
you're
the house-
lucky.
is the-
If you're lucky. And the father would take the little girl in the shower and brought her downstairs to go to sleep one night naked, no diaper, no nothing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like Ryan won't even give Addie a bath. Like too many.
I'm sorry.
Too many things can be said
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
So like my daughter's father won't even give her a bath because this
but
is
What's their house look like inside? Is it a mess?
Nobody thought anything of it, but with all
Did you see like
it was
what did you see
nuisance.
all over the
Now
place?
it's like you go a day without
Clothes,
hearing it.
garbage.
It's news.
yeah.
Garbage on the floor and stuff.
Can somebody go get Candace?
How many
Sorry,
they got-
Sorry, I wasn't trying. I don't think she was out of. Yeah, I think she was out of her
She's mad,
mind.
man.
Yeah, she was mad at her. But that's mother-daughter thing. Don't worry about that.
No, but they say if they do it to her on her phone.
Who? Okay, let me ask you something. Do you believe
She was
the
at a
kidnapping
football
theory?
game watching her daughter cheerlead with her daughter's boyfriend. And
If
somebody
it
took a
was,
picture of her
who could have
posted on
kidnapped?
Facebook,
Like,
she
I mean,
can't
do they have
be
any like
happy
enemies
her
who?
daughter is
Probably,
cheerleading.
I don't know, but
When
God
she
blessings.
was staying inside that,
That's-
like, somebody
But she has
No.
nothing to do with this. She's a.
It just doesn't make sense, right?
she's
Like a
running
kidnap.
around.
We went there and we saw all around Beach Creek up to Ben Hill, and it's that 11 acres there, up on top of the hill. How
they
could
got a lot
somebody?
of acres too.
Yeah, but how could somebody just come out of the middle of nowhere and say, "Hey, we're gonna go
How
kidnap"?
can the little girl, okay, the cellar, all right, in the basement,
Right.
go out
You know
the
what I'm
door
saying?
and somebody
My
kidnap
question
her?
is, and
First of all, you gotta go up a goddamn rickety ass driveway,
with her mom and her
you know, and all
So
that.
I find it odd. I find
There's no way.
constantly find it odd that they constantly go to that flower bed to justify why that was there, and it just kind of gives me the EBG. Yeah, EBGBs about it.
Yeah.
Would you mind going and getting Kim so we can just?
Allie.
Oh, is her name Allie? Yeah, it's Allie. I'm sorry. What did I call Kim? I'm sorry. What? Thank you.
Well, hopefully, they're.
Yeah, poor Allyson has left us on this earth. Rest in peace, Allyson Harris.
held accountable. I mean, it's sick what you do though. You know, it's a child. Does a lot of people know about that around here? This case, like, is it talked about or just it is? We were
Social media blew it all. It's all over.
has media came and talked to you at all? Did any media come talk to you? Any media come talk to you? No. Oh, they talked. What about police? Did police come there? They did. TBI?
I don't know.
Oh, I can only imagine. But you have to understand.
I know that,
And it's not Hunter's fault. And Allie, you guys are victims too. Allie, I just want you to know that. You guys are victims of this nonsense too. You don't deserve
what?
what's going on.
You know,
I know she's mad at me, Ma.
I'm Oliver Whiteley, and I have one of the biggest voices in the YouTube community. If there's anything that you want to say,
Appreciate you. Blessings to
just
all.
say it now, and I promise that that message will be heard loud and clear.
John was on Mother and Grandmother knows where that baby is.
And
God bless.
probably the father does too.
What were you gonna say?
John was on YouTube.
Grand Bun is right on. These girls are absolutely right in their suspicions. All of these distractions with the different players over the years in this particular case, the answer is right in front of our face. They still want physical evidence. They think it's solvable. Of course it is. some point here, it's going to go to a grand jury. All of this is got to be coming to some sort of end with the investigation, just based off of, let's say, the more deeper investigation and the parallel investigation that goes on into the parents and their involvement in the activities leading up to that June 15th, especially with what it was that they were worried about and concerned about that was going on within the house. Here we have people who we know or admit to being some of the callers and having to be involved in this issue up there with Child Protective Services. It's not the only thing that's going on. It's not just a one-time thing. It has everything to do with these kids, all of them, drinking alcohol. Think about how young their kids are at that particular time and now. It's so shocking. It's so fucking wrong. The possibility couldn't be higher. And I only say possibility because I'm not the one doing the formal investigation, the one that's going to bring charges against them. That's nothing to say that we're not right and this isn't exactly what the issue is. The investigators understand what the problems are here. That brings us to this Van Hill Road scenario. Wouldn't be too much of a stretch to think that Candace dealt with what she perceived as unwanted behavior by way of Summer. Think about the complicated scenario we could almost not even imagine, but we're going to try. We're going to try and get there. Imagine the scenario where Don and Candace are sleeping in this bed naked and somehow involved in inappropriate conduct with a 5-year-old child. Well, we definitely know and can imagine Don doing it because of his history with Jeannie and her being 5 years old when Don started with her way back when they were younger in the 70s, late 70s. Think about how that makes Candace Bly feel when she's coming in and out of her different states of drunken stupor on the daily. Think about how much of a fucking hellhole you guys have created for yourselves. And lying is what you do to yourselves every day regardless, because it's what keeps you getting through the day. But you grow certain resentment. You really start to look at your partner in ways that are degrading and not healthy or conducive to a healthy environment, not to mention for your kids, but for your own mental health. That's why you escape yourselves in the drink, the drugs that you've hooked yourselves on. My opinion, Don had to get rid of Summer. And there was a plan put in place because it was getting rid of a problem for Candace too. Because she probably grew jealous at the type of attention that fucking pervert Don Wells was giving to his daughter. You've heard him try to express what his fatherly paternal love for his daughter sounds like. And it sounds like more of a romantic relationship from a person, an abuser, than it does an actual individual that's affected by not having his beloved daughter around anymore. And I point you guys directly to Mike Demand's last video when he talked about, remember back when Don was incarcerated and wrote that letter to the kidnappers of Summer Wells. and go and focus on some of the language that he uses. It'll awaken you that much more if you haven't done it already.
The other night, I had a lady text message me on Facebook. She even went through some of my friends' list, and she got a hold of my sister in New York and everything.
Yeah,
Don was on Facebook, and he said, well, YouTube, and he said that my 12-year-old daughter even said her name and what we called her.
I heard it. Has a badass body.
Has a body from fucking hell.
Yes, we have that.
And
She's 12.
I do know
Ziggy
for
sent it to me.
So when you heard that, what happened? Like, what was your thoughts when you heard that? You were like,
fucking sick motherfucker, something needs to happen.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, we can catch charges. That's it. Like, no grown ass man needs to be talking about a 12-year-old like that.
And I know that he also even gave Bear alcohol because he gave my grandkids alcohol and did something to them.
who?
Donnie.
Donnie did something to your grandkids? What did Donnie do to your grandkids?
So it's to be noted, Sherry's identifying her grandkids, Dawn. She's accusing Dawn of getting drunk and molesting her grandkids. Jesus, Murphy.
When?
When we used to hang up there and they used to stay the night, but I stayed the night once up there, didn't like it, and then but the kids, I thought she was supposed to be with
Mom, I love you. I'll see you later.
Did you see bruises on them or on your?
They had bruises, but they said that the kids were always out fooling around.
But Don, you're saying Don Wells gave your grandkids alcohol?
Hey, cool fish.
Little one says,
That's what what's your little one's name?
Michelle.
Michelle. How old's Michelle?
She's 9 now.
She's not. When was this? How old was she then? How old was she
What
then?
about, you said about 7, 8? Yeah.
7 or 8, and she said that Don gave her alcohol.
I don't have
Oh my gosh.
My
great God.
But when CPS went to go and
That is in a mental institution, and she's been there since March.
oh yeah, she ain't getting out anytime soon.
But
either.
when Jeremy,
What about did Don give him drugs? You think?
Probably.
What kind of drugs? Like what would it be? Like,
I have to sit on the porch.
I know
well,
weed.
Not now, but in the summer.
I don't know if it's the other shit that they smoke.
what about
All these
who's her name?
people go
Grandis?
there.
Mother?
Candace.
No. What about the mother? Her
Her
mother?
mother's name was Candace too.
Did you ever meet her?
There.
Yeah, I don't like her.
Why?
my kids can't even have a life. Like,
You see her do drugs ever? Drink?
No, she just popping pills. Her
yeah, you're
pills.
being harassed.
Popping pills. Did you ever see her hit any children?
She
My son was
threatened
in school. He was getting
that if they
harassed
didn't
every day
listen,
since
she's
he
gonna
was
whoop
in
their
school.
ass.
So locals are harassing.
But I
And
heard
people mean
that she
to-
did hit him.
Oh, she did. Who'd you hear that from?
The kid, her kid.
I don't get
I ask you, friends, and it's very difficult to bring your mind there, but think of it, a parent. What would be the only reason that you would give a child between the ages of 5 and 8 alcohol, if not to try to get them, like every other chomo and person who harms children? It would be for the exact same reason. Why the fuck would an adult want to do that in the first place? A normal person would never want to do that unless you had the worst intentions in mind and to take advantage of those who you incapacitated with the alcohol. You're in a position of power over those children. There's no excuse for it. This is not letting your kids drink in the basement all underage while they're in high school or something. This is disgusting. This has perversion, molestation written all over it. There's no other reason to give a 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-old alcohol. None. That's what Dawn was doing. Resorting to the same sort of degen behavior that other pedophiles carry out on children. There's no other innocent excuse for something like that. None. Nothing innocent about it.
Her kids? Oh, her kids. Wow.
My kid.
But I
You
just
think
felt
she?
like
You think
guys
she
are-
was
you guys
part
are
of this?
people
Like she
that's not
covered up or
supposed to,
something?
you know,
I think she
we
was
do
involved
care
with
about you guys,
something.
you know? And we're
Yeah.
sorry everything's going.
The mother, the
going on.
grandmother.
It's not fair.
And
It's
I
And
just-
that
think
little
probably-
girl is buried on their property.
that's
I
what we've been
swear
saying,
to
too.
God
You guys,
that-
I'm telling you guys, we're all on the same page.
Why else won't anyone?
Allie.
Why won't they let any authorities on
How
my
many-
property to search?
Don't they own
If
like
it was my
40
kid,
acres?
I'd be like, have at it, people.
Yeah. If you got nothing to
Matter of
hide,
fact, he put no trespassing signs all over the trees
Yeah.
around the house. Oh, this is under surveillance, on trespassing. No one can come on my property. He doesn't even want packages going up to his thing. He has a drum at the as a driveway at 110.
Garbage.
Yeah, and he doesn't want anybody.
Allowed to leave state.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Why
Under
was
a
she
federal
allowed?
criminal investigation.
The grandmother left
not
state.
allowed to- none of them are allowed
Who?
to leave.
I
I
didn't
didn't know she wasn't allowed, but I remember she took off because she didn't want to answer questions because she's been through
Then
this
she came
before.
back.
Candace's
Yeah.
mother, Candace.
And
With
her
Grandis,
daughter,
Grandis.
Rosemary Blind,
That's what they call her, Grandis.
Candace's sister,
Went missing.
Yeah,
went missing.
that's
And I know
crazy.
where that girl's buried because they told me a story one night that where they used to live, it was a cement driveway. Her kids were 3 and 4 and said,
Don't come in here spamming bullshit about Andrew Hiltz in this circumstance when there's real issues to talk about in the Summer Wells case. Why don't you go fucking watch Andrew Hiltz? Leave his name out of my live chat. Doesn't have anything to fucking do with this. That's my boy Pandrew.
Mommy's there, Mommy's there. Why didn't they ever?
Where would that be? Like, where was that at?
Wisconsin or whatever.
In
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
That's probably why
wherever.
she's gone from Wisconsin.
Kansas got really drunk one night and said, my sister was supposed to meet someone at a bar, her friend, and
Yep.
she never made it. That's what she said. And she
Yeah.
first
Who
met-
would have been responsible for her sister's death, the mom or Candace?
Both probably. Or Candace anyway, because I know Candace didn't
Which
get
one?
along. The daughter.
Okay.
Do you think CPS should ever put the boys back in that house?
No, not at all. Please, no.
No. I appreciate your passion because
No.
it seems like you know, and you know.
Those kids come here in the summer before summer died. They're filthy, and so is the mother.
They didn't ever
littlest
cook
one,
dinner.
really?
They always ate frozen pizza and whatever else.
The little one, Waylon, he showed up here and he had a 3rd-degree burn. On
What?
his
Oh,
arm.
wait a minute. Yeah, on a wood stove down there in the basement. She
Not
showed
here.
me that
Not here.
he
They
got
have
burnt.
it
So
Never
down
took him
in
to the
basement
hospital.
where Candace or Summer
Was
slept?
missing. Yeah.
Where they all slept. The
They
boys
all
that
slept
did-
down there.
She
All
had
the
them
kids slept down in that
there.
basement?
The
All in
ba-
one room?
Yeah.
Summer slept with mommy and daddy in the bed.
I think that's the best way of saying it there, helicopter mom. Is that who's saying that? Or is it Robin? I think it's Robin. I can't see with my eyes. Yeah, it's Robin. Hello. Chicken Hunter's mom, or Hunter's mom tried to deny what was going on so she didn't look like a bad mom, letting Hunter hang around Candace like that, knowing that they're feeding kids alcohol, they're molesting your siblings. I mean, that question is relevant. And yeah, I think that accounts for some of the problems that Allyson was going through back then with some of the things that she was saying about when Hunter came back in the state of Summer in the car and things, right? Grand Bun and Sherry that have already been through this, it's had to have been a point of contention within that family. And when it comes down to it, how do you control people like that? You know, it's maybe not in their nature to physically restrain Hunter, who's a fairly big kid, maybe they don't deal with their issues in such a way. But Allyson obviously acknowledges it and felt bad about it after the fact. You know, maybe it's a problem that came up. I'm just looking for, sounds like excuses. But it was a definite issue.
They didn't even have a door on the bathroom.
No.
Now they do because
No.
welfare says she has to have one.
They sectioned that whole part off.
Yeah, they sectioned that off.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
'Cause
was
we
like,
went up there-
Chris, whatever his name is, there. When he did her interview with her, she took him to her nasty house.
'Cause when she got in Texas, she came down to my house and wanted me to go out with her. So I went and I said, she wanted us to go up and visit, but the kids wanted to see the dogs. And so I only did it for the kids' sake, and that's when she had the mapping petition off. But
It's sad. It's sad, and we want answers. I mean, we want answers. We want to find her.
I want to know what happened to her.
We want to know.
Because she was
The
over here, and you guys loved
mother
her. And
and
we
the
loved her like she
grandmother
was our
could
own.
tell.
Yeah.
They
I
should
tried
grill
to
them
help with the
people.
kids
I'm
and
sorry.
everything.
Yeah.
I let them spend the night
Mine's
at
her
my house,
oldest.
gave them a fully cooked meal. They would
They
take
love her
showers.
like their own little sister. Like,
TBI speak to you?
Yeah.
What'd they say? Like, what were they asking?
They do.
just went over the.
Did that day or what happened?
Yeah.
They
Before.
wouldn't tell us anything.
They
but
weren't
they
close
thought-
nothing, but
How many TBI came?
the first time it was.
Bobby was here.
Well, that was later on that night. That was.
Bobby's a
let's
police
see,
guy.
let's see. The first time they came over, there was 2, and then I got another phone call.
Logic's a little flawed there. That's why you're timed out. There's no need to suggest Hunter was SAing Summer and trying to again include Andrew and Hunter and everybody when there's absolutely no rhyme or reason to do that, especially when these victims are already being abused. Go fuck yourself.
And they came back.
Yeah, that was late.
No, that was when I was getting ready to go to work. Remember? Leslie was here. She had leave. And they were gonna point me for that day, and she said, "Don't you dare." And then I was gonna go to work. Mom was gonna bring me, and late. And they came back.
And then that guy that tried to kidnap Hunter.
Yep.
Who tried to
What?
kidnap
Kidnap?
Hunter?
Jeremy Duggan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He
from
worked with
Alabama.
bikers against Georgia. He
Bikers against trafficking, human trafficking?
yeah. And
Creeper.
child abuse. And
So why did he try to kidnap Hunter?
Hunter's father had reached out to him, I guess, and was concerned for my son's safety.
Yeah, you're right with this disgusting situation with Don going through this ritual of showering with his 5-year-old daughter.
Because of this Wells incident.
But he didn't care until
It's freezing out here.
he didn't care until there was a reward out for Summer. And then him and Jeremy came up with an idea to come up and get Hunter. And I was at the football field when I read it on Facebook, plain as day. Jeremy Duggan left the thing saying that his name and everything. He had a transfer order to transfer my child from Tennessee to New York. I panicked. I went to the police department. They told me if anyone shows up, call them. They'd be right over.
Now they
Well,
own
no one
like
showed up
40
that night.
acres of land.
So I went to work. Grandma
12,
was here with the kids.
11.2.
Well, I think there's more than that.
Grandma was here with the
One
kids.
time she said that
I'm on my lunch break.
they owned over
And I
like
get
30
my phone's going blast.
acres of land.
ballistic.
We
I
were
mean,
on a
ballistic.
couple
I
different
got people
parts where they
calling me.
used to ride the boys used to ride the
Hunter
dirt
just sent me a
bikes.
Snapchat of this. They're on their way.
And there's a
they're
lot
on
of
their
wood.
way.
There's a big
I
old
didn't even
garage
clock out
down there.
from work.
now.
I said, I got a family emergency. Bye.
What about that shed at the
And
bottom of their hill? What is
Called
that?
Grandma up. Solicit
They-
someone's going to get you and
At the
Hunter.
bottom of the hill. I never
In the
been in
car.
that one.
The beach hill right there.
But
Road.
if you go down the road a little bit,
That's
And I
gotta be
said-
nerve-wracking for you guys.
that's where they used to ride the dirt bikes, the
Like I
boys.
said, I'd sit
And
on
there's
the
a
porch.
garage there,
I
and
didn't
there
care
was
about
like
the housework. I'd
old-
sit on the porch.
an old
Anybody
vehicle
comes
in
near
there.
there,
It was just,
you know.
And so
and the kids would wander off and
we
go
all
play
met
in the
up at
water
the secret
in the
location.
creek.
First, I
The
went
back.
to the Kingsport City Police Department. Told everyone there. They said we don't want to know where anyone's at because you don't know who's watching or nothing. I said, all right. They said if they show up, because we told them not to show up because they called them, told them they were coming, that we were gonna, that they would get in trouble. So me and Leslie came here. We changed clothes because we were gonna go swimming, and the house wanted us to check out the area. We came here, got ready. Back then, I'm on the phone telling everyone stay put. And 5 seconds later, the white truck from Georgia showed up. They beat their horn. They wanted my son to climb out his bedroom window, leave some of his stuff on the side of the house, and get in the car and leave with them. They're gonna bring him to his father's. No. He ain't take my kid nowhere. With me, Leslie, and her husband met Jeremy Duggan right here on my porch, toe to toe. And that was not nice.
So they actually made contact with your son without your knowledge,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
and convinced him to meet them.
No, he
Tried
was
to.
scared.
Oh, and
Oh,
he
he
let
was
you know.
scared. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he let everyone know. He was taking screenshots of everything. He gave us all of his online information and
Wow.
If you guys had a message for Don Wells, what would it be? Say.
Keep your mouth shut about Bear. That's what we call her, and that's what he called her. Keep your mouth. That's got nothing
You're
to
gonna
do with
pay for what you did to not only your kids but ours as well.
And what's the message? If you have a message for Candace Wells,
Same thing.
Listen, she was on Dr. Phil and
What did you think of that interview?
Exactly. You're County would have taken me because I've met with them every time they ever called. TBI's been at the house, and I knew the first 20 seconds I talked to him, he already lost interest.
Yeah. Why do you
So-
think they came to your house?
Well, because for one, it's their job.
Yeah.
They have to do that.
So this is Dudley Ajan and his wife. Molly and Bullhorn Betty and Chronicles of Olivia and JLR had a sit down meet with them, and all kinds of topics came up. Now, the first 4 minutes of their interview, Dudley describes being approached while working with Betty. Don reached out claiming Dudley was focusing on the wrong people and that he, Don, was innocent. TBI visited Dudley's house. He sensed disinterest quickly. Key claim is police came because Don named him as the main suspect. Police showed up at his dad's house at 1:30 a.m. the day after he was fired by Don. Now, it goes on, they go on talking about Dudley says he was fired on Monday, the day before Summer was reported missing on Tuesday, June 15th. He saw Don at the job site that Monday looking destroyed, his head down on a tub. This is in the first 7 minutes here, friends. Unusual behavior to him. Don was supposed to work Sunday, but didn't show. Dudley worked Saturday and Monday. The key claim of that in that segment in the first 7 minutes is Dudley saying, I believe the accident happened on Monday or possibly Sunday night or Monday. That's the day I saw him. He had this look on his face like something really bad happened. Well, that experience is what I'm telling you, that what Dudley experienced was him coming to the point in his mind, recognizing that the gig is up. He's been exposed, and they're coming authorities at the last minute to question him, and more importantly, Summer, on the abuse that was going on within that house.
But obviously, Don Wells said that I was the main suspect. I mean, I had to state police at my dad's house at 1:30 in the morning in Church Hill. The next day he fired me on a Monday, and Tuesday morning at 1:30 I got a missed call from my dad. He's called multiple times. Something's wrong. So I called at 7. Are you in some kind of trouble, son? They didn't even tell him what they were there for. They just was looking for me. Don Wells knew where I went. Weber City, Virginia, and Churchill, Tennessee is two totally different places. So.
Well, you guys look like normal people. How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel that he's, we know that he's put your name through the mud. He's called you a drug addict, all these things. How does that make you feel?
I mean, when I first heard it, it made me upset, angry, because for one, I never done anything with him, but smoke weed.
Right.
So,
which I don't think is a crime. Is that a crime in Tennessee? I don't.
Virginia's legal.
Okay.
It's legal in Virginia. That's where we're living.
Okay.
But how do I feel about it?
I mean, because he said basically that you're a meth addict.
You see, the problem is Don Wells, Candace Wells, knows what happened to Summer Wells. So I was in the way. I personally believe the accident happened on Monday or possibly Sunday night or Monday. Because that's the day I saw him went to work and I was fired that evening. So, but when I seen him, I've never seen Don this way before. He had this look on his face like something really bad happened.
When you say that day, what?
So Dudley's just expressing it from his perspective, knowing it from not YouTube or social media or the news, but knowing it because Don made him really a party to this situation by naming him as the probable guilty party of abducting Summer. And knowing, and what he's really saying is knowing that he's innocent and he didn't do it, and he knows that Candace knows what happened to Summer. He's suggesting that whatever, and he's using the term accident as the incident that took Summer's life, forcing them to have to project blame onto himself. Obviously, the last time Summer was seen outside the home was with eyewitnesses Sherry, Allyson, and Hunter. After Hunter was dropped off, we have no verifiable, nothing really to go on, no information because the parents are being uncooperative.
Date would that be? So she went missing on that 15th when you say the Monday.
That's the 14th. The 14th the day I got fired that evening. That's the day he said, well, he was talking about having everybody at the job and stuff. Tuesday, the day Summer come missing, I believe is what I heard. Richard Tucker and all of them. But that was Monday, not Tuesday. So to me, I'm like, why is he lying about the date? He was supposed to go work Sunday. He didn't show up. I worked Saturday. And Monday I go in and he's sitting on a tub, like head down.
Maybe he's in trying to avoid child protective services with his kids and his wife. Maybe he's busy avoiding. So he's trying to make sense of why Dawn wasn't there on a Sunday.
And just destroy it. And I'm like, this ain't good.
So he did.
When you say a tub, where's this at? Like a job site?
At the job site.
What job site was that?
That was the one you recorded me at. Doing the drywall Saturday. That was that job. That's the job he said I couldn't tell what you had done that day. I put 5 buckets of mud on. She recorded me. And he got mad because I went over his work and it looked better. So he envied me. And he thought I was a threat to him and he was going to lose his job because all he knows how to do is finish drywall.
What was the address that you got, the last job that he was working on before summer went missing?
I can tell you exactly where it was. The address, I couldn't went by lot numbers.
Location.
It was, what exit was that? Give me a moment. It was a subdivision, and it was right behind the BP gas station.
What town?
I want to say, man, what town was that? That's got to be like Fall Branch or, man, I get confused in the towns, but I know it wasn't Bluff City. It was close, Jonesboro.
Jonesboro.
I believe it was Jonesboro. Yep,
Okay.
that's what it was, Jonesboro.
So you got fired the day before Summer got reported missing.
Yeah, I got fired the day before. The day he looked all crazy and shit.
Who
He was
fired
going to Jamie. He went and seen Jamie down the street from the job site. Okay, he went.
Who's Jamie?
Jamie was the guy that he said he went and talked to. You know, when Richard Tucker and all of them was there. That was, but he didn't say I was there. See, he's saying that was on Tuesday. That's what I heard, but that was on Monday. That's the day I got fired. They were all there. Job site. Okay, he went.
Who's Jamie?
Jamie was the guy that he said he went and talked to. You know, when Richard Tucker and all of them was there. That was, but he didn't say I was there. See, he's saying that was on Tuesday. That's what I heard, but that was on Monday. That's the day I got fired. They were all there.
Did Don fire you or Richard Tucker fire you?
Don fired me.
What, like, why? Because he's like your at the time supervisor?
Well, we were partners, 50-50. Okay, that's what we were. Jesse put me with him, and because I was working too many hours on the job, he wanted me to go sub because I'd make more money working with Don. He needed some help. Don was doing like maybe one house a month, okay, and he put me with him, so therefore we jumped up to almost 2 houses a month. You know, we was doing a whole house and then mostly a patch job or something somewhere. You want to get a drink, babe? I need a drink.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How many times did you see him interact? Did you see him and Candace interact, or maybe even you might have?
She would come to the job site. with
She would.
Rambo.
And how did they interact with her? Like,
Who's her?
the parents, like Don and Candace. How did they
They
interact
were
with
always
Summer?
fighting half the time.
They fought a lot.
Yeah, they fought a lot.
Did you ever see them abuse Summer?
I seen him, not Summer, no. But I mean, if it depends on what you consider abuse. You know,
Verbal
you're telling
abuse.
Summer go beat up Dudley and walk on the walkboard that's sitting on stairs 10 feet off the ground. You know, she's 5 years old. The walkboard's the same walkboard they had in the picture of her coming from her house down to the ground. That was her steps. So a walkboard's aluminum and they have holes. You know, it's not something a 5-year-old should walk that walkboard. And I'd be like, Don, what if she falls? Richard Tucker's job be going down in trouble. You know what I mean? She got the kids there.
So when you said that the grandma and Candace would come to the job
Yeah,
sites,
they come
why
there
would they
a couple
come?
of times.
Why would they go there?
One time they came there to get money. One time he had to go outside because they were fighting. I don't know what they were fighting about. But mostly they fought a lot.
When they came there, what kind of vehicle did they come in?
She drove in a Subaru.
Subaru.
Yeah, I believe it got impacted. They took it away.
Oh, they
It's
did?
5 months or something behind. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure.
It was taken back for lack of payment.
Yes.
Was that the yellow Subaru?
No, yellow Subaru.
No.
That was a yellow. I mean, That was a red Subaru.
Red
It was a Subaru Outback.
maroon.
Outback?
Huh?
Subaru Outback?
Not an Outback. It was a small little cross-track or something.
Cross-track, okay.
Yeah. It was a nice car. The day he fired me, he was driving it with tools in it, and everybody's making fun of him like, Don, why do you drive your wife's car to work?
Now with that's the day before Summer was reported missing. Did he take that Subaru to work any other prior time? Was that day on the 14th?
That day only. The only day I seen him, the day he fired.
So, getting back to this epiphany of this being a premeditated situation in which they all conspired to get rid of Summer in order to save Dawn. Another reason to link in the things that otherwise stood out to people, and this red Subaru that particular day is one of them. This was way back in 2020, 2021. So it's a new vehicle, which is equipped with everything that somebody would need to track every movement of that particular car should they need to get into it. What was on the property is that white little pickup truck that Dawn usually takes to work. And that white pickup truck is what Candace used to travel around the holler and up and down Van Hill Road, the same road that the pig farm is on, searching for Summer sometime within that the 3:30 to 6:15 time frame. That's what she says. Do you believe her? People identified her in that vehicle driving around talking to her. So she was out and about.
On a Monday.
Did he tell you why he was driving that car?
No, he didn't tell me why. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
I just thought it was odd because I've never seen it.
They wouldn't be able to track the locations because it's an old pickup truck and it's not equipped with all of the communication technology as their Subaru would have been. Again, planning first thing in the morning. You know, Dawn hasn't really provided any real good explanation other than just an innocent, I decided to have a change type of answer. I did it for the change that particular day. Well, why that day that your kid ends up going missing?
$2 months. So somebody said 2 weeks. No, I worked with him for 2 months. For 2 weeks prior to this happening, I was begging Jesse and him to give me my own house and move me away from Don. The dude's crazy. There's something wrong with him. He's deliberately starting trouble. And, they didn't listen to me. Instead, they set me up for the kill. So,
Did Don ever bring the boy?
It's such an interesting point that you bring up. Her fishing hole is on the pig farm property, you think. It's funny you say that. I think there's something to that because there's been all kinds of talk before the raid came out about her favorite fishing hole spot. She even went out there, even before all of this raid, she was out there visiting that particular location, that pond in particular. And people were talking about a pond, but in your mind, you didn't know where that was until people are associating it to this pond that goes along with the pig farm here on Fred Hill's Relations property.
To work with him.
yes.
He has.
Yeah, he brought him to the chocolate factory job. That was the first one he was there, and he was smoking weed with him in the house.
Smoking weed with the boys.
Smoking weed with his son. Yeah, he had
Which
one
son?
The oldest.
The oldest.
Yeah, yeah.
Josie?
Josie. Yeah.
Did you see Josie smoke weed?
Yeah, I saw him smoking weed. He was smoking weed right there. He left the roach on the damn window.
So here's Dudley Ajan telling us that Josie, their oldest son, left a weed roach. He was openly smoking his parents' pot on the job site. Like, what the fuck is going on? There's absolutely no limits with them.
I said, Don, so they're going to get us in trouble here. Jesse sees that.
Personally, I don't care where Don was right now. Whether he was home, whether he was at work in Jonesboro, it doesn't fucking matter, considering that it was premeditated and they planned all of this before anybody left that particular day. And it has everything to do with the bizarre behavior he witnessed on Monday when he walked in to Don having a conversation where he looked all shook.
That shit, he already didn't like me because I smoked funny tobacco.
Talk about trying to line up the time frame with phone records. I wonder what the TBI know about that. I wonder what their forensics have told us about that particular call and who it was between.
So
I'm really curious to know about the months leading up to what happened with Summer. What was going on in the background? I want to see an objective timeline.
to have it on a job site, you know what I mean, it was unprofessional. And to do it with your kid, 11 years old, come on. I mean, that's not right.
Did you ever hear of him drinking? Well, actually, let me ask you one question before I go to that.
Yeah, what do you have?
Yeah, why don't you guys have a drink? And also,
honestly, we really appreciate you guys.
First of all, I'm not trying to be the moral authority here. How could you not have went home and been affected by that? I wonder, Dudley. Like, it's so bizarre to me why you couldn't have just picked up the phone and called CPS on that punk ass. Like, what else is going on over there if you are sitting here with all of your kids at work? Like, what is it you're trying to avoid? Why are all your kids at work? Why is your wife here? It's such a bizarre scenario. The 11-year-old is smoking weed, and you're not going to say anything. That's fucked up. Aren't you a little young to be smoking that? Like, that wouldn't even be funny in a Hollywood movie. I would be bothered. I don't know about anybody else.
yeah, I didn't mean to start right into this, but you were already talking, so we figured we'd start filming.
You have our word. We're not here to get you.
Yeah, that's.
We've been the most.
We're here to keep people off your backs and try to just, at this time, because there is a lot of speculation.
Just me. Said that he enjoyed my tenacity. Would you come to the house? 9 o'clock last night.
I wouldn't trust.
He said, I want you to come
No
to the house. And I'm like, what? He goes, come to the house and just me, you, and Candace. No cameras, no audio, nothing.
I took my wife there to get my money one time.
No, it doesn't even have anything to do with that, Meep. It's not about being able to save Summer from Dawn. It's not. I'm not looking for that. It's not the sort of thinking we're along the lines. It's just a simple fact. How could that the sight of that not bothered you enough to say something to the authorities? Maybe he was worried. I don't know. I'm just curious to know as to why his reasoning. I'm not saying he even should have. Some people aren't like that.
To never bring her there ever again.
Why?
Linda.
Why?
What I got from it, it was just very uncomfortable. This woman just looks evil.
How was the condition?
I think that the answer in this situation probably has to do with that Dudley's got some problems of his own that he keeps on the DL and, just turns another cheek in order to get the day, the less problems in his day, the better, especially when Don Wells brings him on and offers him 50-50 and then fucks him over in the end and he doesn't even get 5%. And he brings him into this situation that Don's gaslighted, or I'm suggesting Don has premeditated in order to silence his daughter speaking out about the abuse that she was suffering. Dudley Ajan and Hunter were both brought into this. There's just side issues going on. And it's just a real demonstration of the pattern of overall illegal activity in their interactions with minors, including their own children, all the way down to the age of 5.
I never got outside of our vehicle.
Because you were
whenever we
scared?
did, yeah. So from just walking to her from the outside, I'm like, where are you taking me? You know, somebody lives here, you know?
When you say you had to go there and get money, was it like, does he pay you at a like a later?
Yeah.
When did you get paid?
Richard, see, I didn't understand that. Not Richard. Jesse would direct deposit the money in his account because it was his job. So he would pay me my portion out of it, you know, which was 50-50. So I never actually got to see. Huh?
Go ahead, sorry.
What?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I never actually got to see what the deposit was, but he told me what I'd make off of every job. And he would pay me my cash.
Did he ever stiff you?
Yes. He stiffed me the last time I was supposed to get $2,100. He paid me $300. Okay? Left me with $1,800. And then fires me. Well, he fired me before, but you know, he went a couple of days and I kept calling Jesse. I was like, did Don get paid? Yes, I ain't getting paid. He said, he hasn't paid you. I already deposited the money in his account. I said, all right. Well, I called him back. I said, he didn't give me shit. He said, he didn't give you nothing. I wasn't even telling him he gave me $300. That ain't shit compared to 21. Yeah.
Well, Stacia, I agree. You called it out for what it is. It's normalizing the misuse and abuse of dangerous substances immediately, especially with alcohol. It's not like they're learning anything in a healthy environment or sampling it, or it's not even a factor. They're being dosed it. They're given it as a form. There's a reason behind why Don and Candace give these kids alcohol. First of all, if you loved alcohol and you're that big of an alkie, usually you like to keep it all to yourself. You don't like to share it. But they use it strategically with their own children and with other people's kids. And they cross sexual boundaries. So one can't help but thinking that it's an aggravating factor. The alcohol is the aggravating factor in how they get to the end.
You know? No, he didn't give me shit. He said he paid you $400, but he didn't pay me $400. He only paid me $300. And I had a neighbor that recorded it while I was getting it, and I was asking, have you heard anything about Summer? And he just wigged out on it. Like, I should have never asked that question. Why not? I'm worried about this daughter.
Well, isn't that interesting? So really, unintentionally, Dudley really did troll the fuck out of an individual who we're alleging has planned the disappearance, planned the death of his own daughter in order to get away from the inevitable. That what was already coming down the mountain from child welfare. Don showed an extreme sensitivity to it when, in fact, if it was an actual real situation and he was a victim, another person offering their condolences and thoughts in that moment is a heartfelt human thing, normal thing to do. And Don was triggered by it.
Let me ask you, when you said that, you know, he was acting crazy at the job, or he was, you know, not right the next day, and he was sitting in that tub.
He acted crazy at the job.
He did act crazy.
Like what? Give examples of what would you say crazily?
My favorite is this. I'm pulling the metal around the window. And actually, I'm pulling a butt joint on a wall next to a window. And he walks up to me with a scoop of mud on his knife and flings it right on a brand new window. And says, I bet you can't do that. I said, when are you going to grow up? I said, now you get to clean that shit. He turns around after I finish pulling the butt, takes a picture of it, sends it to Jesse and says, look what Dudley did. He's fighting with me. He just set me up for a kill.
This little instance that Dudley describes demonstrates a greater pattern of psychopathic behavior and setups, pointing further to the fact that Don's more than capable and willing and has ideations of carrying out sadistic-like behavior, controlling behavior over others in his vicinity or under him, or that he has power over in a professional setting. So Don takes that piece of mud and flings it on the plastic window in front of Dudley. They have a brief exchange, a bit of a power move by way of Don Wells over Dudley, in that he just made him look bad by gaslighting his superior, the contractor who pays them money, who keeps them employed, and rats him out saying, look what Dudley did, when it was in fact Don that did it to him in the first place. This is the kind of shit that Don Wells gets up to in a professional setting. Always trying to make it look like he's planning somebody's red rum, speaking about Mary Hartman and some of the behavior that has been exposed by way of them post-disappearance.
And Jesse didn't call me. He just let Don deal with it.
So, remind me who Jesse is again?
Tucker.
Oh, Jesse Tucker. Okay.
Yeah, Jesse's Richardson.
Richardson.
He's the one that's letting the business go to shit.
I appreciate you, Sky Maiden.
Pedophiles working for him in his neighborhoods.
Who would that be?
And meth head Don Wells. If I would have known I was working with child pedophiles, I don't believe he would have made it.
When you call Don Wells a pedophile, why? Why is he
a pedophile?
So Dudley Ajan is identifying Don Wells and his wife as pedos. Both of them. Now, Dudley doesn't know Allyson and Sherry and all of them. This is completely different settings, individuals.
He molested
Richardson.
He's the one that's letting the business go to shit. He'd rather have child pedophiles working for him in his neighborhoods.
Who would that be?
And meth head Don Wells. If I would have known I was working with child pedophiles, I don't believe he would have made it.
When you call Don Wells a pedophile, why? Why is he?
Well, he's he molested sisters. Okay, I was told that he was molesting Summer, and possibly Candace got pissed off and killed her because she was jealous. So, there's stories, that really throw red flags up.
We've heard the same thing.
And I've had Candace run out the door telling me, did I ever tell you I hate fucking kids? I looked at Don and said, is she talking to me?
Candace said that?
Yeah, Candace said that. And I said, well, she's got 4. She should have kept her legs closed. But Don, on the other hand, he never got the good book about growing up. He's definitely a childlike.
She says that because I think that's a representation of the relationship her and Don have. He's so much older, and his reasons for being in this relationship are to treat you just the same as all of those kids. In fact, he doesn't see any difference. You're all under his power and control in that sense. He's got all of the money. You have to ask him for things. And Candace is probably pissed off and frustrated with the control between them, because ideally as human beings, I think we all want to have healthy and happy relationships with no problems. They seem to be fighting all the time, lacking communication skills, not choosing that way, but probably growing resentment and getting back at each other in all of these little fucking ways. And I'm not saying that that's the answer to what happened to Summer. It goes much deeper than that. It just shows the level of depravity that they would dip to. Yeah, Meep, they already investigated Tucker Drywall in all of the businesses. We're way past that. Have nothing to do with anything.
Year-old stuck in a 53-year-old body where I roll is. Because he's got gangs. He throw mud on the floors. You know, he wrote all this shit on the walls that I got fired for. And he admitted about a week ago on there that he wrote down everything the meth head would do.
Yeah, we heard that.
So he admitted that he wrote it on the walls, and he said I did. But
So when you go to these job sites, are these new houses or houses that are being renovated, or
mostly brand new houses? But we did a couple that had, like the one in Churchill he sent me to. That was a piece of a garage that he forgot about.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hi. They need something to drink. They need something.
Okay. Do you know who your server is? I can go grab.
Well, they found their servers, friends. We're going to bring this to an end. Please hit the link and follow up to hear the rest of the interviews. But for the day, I think we made our points quite clear. Make sure you guys leave a comment in the section below, and we'll get the conversation started, y'all. Thanks for watching. Peace.